안녕하세요. 청춘로맨스 영어입니다. 만약 내일 눈을 떴는데 학교 여신이 되어 있다면 어떨까요? 오늘 이야기를 함께 들어보세요. 시작합니다.
When I opened my eyes that morning, everything had changed. My phone was exploding with messages. New followers. New comments. People actually knew my name. Yesterday, I was invisible. Today, everyone was looking at me. Confused, I ran to the bathroom. The moment I looked into the mirror, I froze. The girl staring back at me wasn't me. She looked exactly like Ava, the most beautiful girl in school, the girl I had always wished I could become. A few hours later, I arrived at school. Students smiled at me, waved at me, called my name. For the first time in my life, I wasn't invisible. I had everything I ever wanted. But that night, I sat alone in my room and cried. Because everyone loved the girl they could see. But nobody knew who I really was. The day before everything changed was completely ordinary, just like every other day. I woke up, got ready for school, and stood in front of the mirror. Nothing special, nothing beautiful, just Emma. I put on my glasses and quietly left for school. As soon as I entered the classroom, nobody looked up. Nobody said good morning. Nobody noticed I was there. I wasn't unpopular. I wasn't hated. I was just invisible. The kind of person people forget. The kind of person who could miss school for a week and nobody would ask why. At lunch, I sat alone near the window. Around me, students laughed and talked with their friends. I listened quietly while eating my lunch. Across the cafeteria, everyone was gathered around Ava, the most beautiful girl in school. Boys wanted to talk to her. Girls wanted to be her friend. Teachers remembered her name. It felt like Ava belonged to a different world, a world I could never enter. Sometimes I wondered what it felt like to be her, to walk into a room and have people smile at you, to have friends waiting for you, to have someone excited to see you. That afternoon, our teacher asked a question in class. I knew the answer. I raised my hand. For a few seconds, nobody noticed. Then the teacher called on someone else. I slowly lowered my hand and looked out the window. It was a small thing, but moments like that happened all the time. On the way home, I stopped at a convenience store and bought a drink. While waiting to pay, I saw Ryan standing outside with his friend. Ryan was one of the most popular boys in school. Confident, friendly, the kind of person everyone liked. I watched him laughing with his friends through the window. Then I looked away before he could notice me. Not that he would. Ryan had probably never looked at me twice. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I thought about school, about Ava, about Ryan, about my boring life. Then I quietly whispered something I had never said out loud before. I wish I could be Ava. A few minutes later, I fell asleep. And when I opened my eyes the next morning, everything was different. When I opened my eyes the next morning, I immediately knew something was wrong. My room looked the same. My desk looked the same. Everything looked normal. But somehow, I felt different. Slowly, I got out of bed and walked toward the bathroom. I looked into the mirror. Then I froze. The girl staring back at me wasn't Emma. It was Ava, the most beautiful girl in school. For a few seconds, I couldn't breathe. I touched my face. The girl in the mirror did the same. I touched my hair. The girl in the mirror copied me. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a joke. I looked exactly like Ava. My heart started racing. No way, I whispered. I looked at myself again and again. Perfect skin, bright eyes, beautiful hair. Everything was different. A few minutes later, I left for school. The moment I stepped through the school gate, something strange happened. Students looked at me. Not for 1 second, not by accident. They were actually looking at me. Some smiled, some waved. A few students even greeted me. "Good morning, Ava." I stopped walking. Nobody had ever greeted me before, at least not like that. As I walked through the hallway, people moved aside for me. Girls smiled. Boys stared. Everyone seemed happy to see me. It felt unreal. Then something even stranger happened. "Hey, Ava." I turned around. It was Ryan. My heart nearly exploded. Ryan was smiling at me, not looking past me, not looking at someone else, looking directly at me. "Good morning." For a second, I forgot how to speak. "Oh, good morning." Ryan smiled. "See you later." Then he walked away. I stood there completely frozen. Yesterday, Ryan barely knew I existed. Today, he greeted me first. The rest of the day felt like a dream. Students invited me to sit with them. People started conversations with me. Everyone wanted my attention. For the first time in my life, I wasn't invisible. For the first time in my life, I felt important. That afternoon, I sat alone on a bench and looked around the campus. Everything I had ever wanted was finally happening. Friends, attention, popularity. Even Ryan noticed me. I should have been happy. I should have been the happiest person in the world. And for a moment, I really was. Over the next few days, my new life only became more unbelievable. Every morning, students greeted me before I even entered the classroom. People smiled when they saw me. People remembered my name. Sometimes they even waited for me. Things that had never happened before. At lunch, I was no longer sitting alone by the window. There was always someone asking me to join them, someone asking about my day, someone wanting to be my friend. At first, it felt strange. Then it started feeling normal, and that scared me a little. One afternoon, I was walking through the hallway when a group of girls stopped me. "Do you want to sit with us after class? Are you going to the festival this weekend? Can we take a picture together?" I smiled awkwardly. "A picture? With me?" The old Emma would never believe this. After school, I checked my phone. More followers, more messages, more notifications. Every day, the number grew. It was like living inside someone else's dream. But the biggest change wasn't the attention. It was Ryan. For some reason, Ryan seemed to appear everywhere. Sometimes he sat next to me during lunch. Sometimes he walked with me after class. Sometimes he simply smiled and said hello. And every single time, my heart reacted the same way. One afternoon, while helping prepare decorations for the school festival, I found myself working alone in the gym. At least, I thought I was alone. A few minutes later, Ryan walked in carrying several boxes. "You need help?" he asked. I nodded. "Please." For the next hour, we worked together, talking, laughing, making decorations. The whole time, I kept asking myself the same question. Would Ryan still talk to me if I looked like the old Emma? The question stayed in my mind. Ryan suddenly held up a paper star. "What do you think?" I laughed. "It looks terrible." Ryan laughed too. "Good. Then we're both bad at this." For a moment, everything felt easy, natural, comfortable. It was exactly the kind of moment I had imagined for years, the kind of moment I thought would make me happy forever. Later that evening, Ryan walked me to the school gate. The sun was beginning to set. The campus was almost empty. Before leaving, Ryan looked at me and smiled. "You've changed lately." My heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" Ryan thought for a moment. "I don't know." He smiled. "You just seem different." I forced a small smile. If only he knew the truth. That night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Just a few days ago, I had wished for this life. Now I had it. Friends, attention, popularity, even Ryan. Everything I ever wanted. So why did something still feel wrong? Why did I keep feeling like I was wearing someone else's face? And why was I suddenly afraid of losing it? The next morning, I arrived at school earlier than usual. The hallways were still quiet. For the first time in days, I felt relaxed. No crowds, no attention, no expectations, just silence. As I walked toward my classroom, I saw someone sitting alone near the window. It was Lily. My heart immediately warmed. Lily had been the only person who ever talked to me before all of this happened. Even when nobody noticed me, Lily always did. She remembered my birthday. She sat with me at lunch. She treated me like I mattered. Without thinking, I walked toward her. "Good morning, Lily." Lily looked up. Then she smiled politely. "Good morning." Something felt strange. I sat down across from her. "How are you?" Lily looked confused for a second. Then she smiled again. "I'm good." The conversation felt awkward. Very awkward. Finally, I couldn't stop myself. "Lily, do you remember Emma?" Lily thought for a moment. "Emma?" I waited, my heart pounding. Then Lily shook her head. "No, should I?" For a moment, everything around me disappeared. I stared at her, unable to speak, unable to move. Lily didn't remember me. The one person I thought would never forget me had forgotten me completely. That afternoon, I couldn't stop thinking about it. All day, students smiled at me. All day, people called my name. But somehow, none of it mattered anymore, because the one friendship that had been real was gone. A few days later, things became even stranger. I started noticing Ava, the real Ava, or at least, the girl who used to be Ava. She was sitting alone, eating lunch by herself, walking through the hallways unnoticed. Nobody talked to her. Nobody looked at her, the way people used to treat me. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but every day, it became harder to ignore. One afternoon, I saw her sitting alone outside the library. Her shoulders looked tired. Her eyes looked sad. For some reason, I couldn't stop staring, because for the first time, I realized something. Ava wasn't happy. The girl I had spent years envying looked lonelier than anyone else. That night, I sat in my room thinking about everything. About Lily, about Ava, about Ryan, about myself. Maybe becoming Ava wasn't the dream I thought it would be. Maybe I had only been looking at the outside. Maybe I never understood what it actually felt like to live her life. And for the first time since all of this started, I began to wonder if I really wanted this life after all. The more I watched Ava, the more questions filled my mind. Why did she always look so tired? Why did she always sit alone? Why did she never smile anymore? This was supposed to be the perfect life. The life I had always wanted. So why did Ava look so unhappy? A few days later, I finally found the courage to talk to her. After school, I saw her sitting alone behind the gym. The sun was beginning to set. For a moment, I almost walked away. But something stopped me. Slowly, I sat down beside her. Ava looked surprised. Neither of us spoke at first. Then she quietly asked, "Do I know you?" I smiled sadly. "No." Ava looked down at her hands. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. Then suddenly, she laughed. It wasn't a happy laugh. It sounded tired. "You're lucky," I blinked. "Lucky?" Ava nodded. "Everyone likes you." I almost laughed. If only she knew. For a few seconds, I didn't know what to say. Then Ava continued. "People think being popular is amazing." She looked toward the school building. "But nobody really knows me." The words hit me harder than I expected, because they sounded familiar, very familiar. Ava smiled bitterly. Everyone loves the version of me they created in their heads. Her voice became quieter. But nobody asks how I feel. For the first time, I truly understood. Ava wasn't living a dream. She was carrying a burden, Every smile, every expectation, every compliment. People loved Ava, but nobody loved the real girl behind her. I lowered my head because I suddenly realized something. I wasn't so different. For years, I wanted people to notice me. I wanted attention, popularity, a different face, a different life. But none of those things could change who I was inside. That night, I couldn't sleep. I thought about Lily, the only friend who cared about me before any of this happened. I thought about Ryan, and the question I had been avoiding. Would Ryan still like me if I looked like the old Emma? The answer scared me, because I didn't know. For the first time since becoming Ava, I looked into the mirror and didn't feel happy. The beautiful face staring back at me no longer felt exciting. It felt unfamiliar, like a costume, like a life that belonged to someone else. I touched the mirror and whispered quietly, "I don't want to be Ava anymore." A tear rolled down my cheek, not because I was sad, but because I finally understood what I wanted. I didn't want to be the most beautiful girl in school. I didn't want thousands of followers. I didn't want everyone to know my name. I just wanted one thing: to be loved as Emma. Not as someone else, not as a fantasy, not as a perfect image, just Emma. And for the first time, I was ready to let everything go. The next morning, I woke up feeling strangely calm. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't excited to look in the mirror. I already knew what I would see. Ava's face, a face everyone admired, a face I used to dream about. But now, it didn't make me happy anymore. As I got ready for school, I kept thinking about what Ava had said. "Nobody really knows me." Those words stayed with me, because they were true. Not only for Ava, for me too. When I arrived at school, everything was the same as always. Students smiled at me. People greeted me. Someone asked for a picture. Someone complimented my hair. A few weeks ago, moments like these would have felt magical. Now they felt empty. For the first time, I wasn't enjoying the attention. I was looking for something else, someone else. At lunch, I found Lily sitting alone near the window, the same place where I used to sit. I watched her for a moment. Then I walked over. "Can I sit here?" Lily smiled politely. "Sure." For a few minutes, we talked about school. Nothing important, nothing special. But somehow, it felt more real than all the conversations I'd been having lately. When lunch ended, Lily stood up and smiled. "It was nice talking to you." I smiled back. "It was nice talking to you too." As she walked away, my chest hurt. Not because she forgot me, but because I missed her. The real friendship we used to have. That afternoon, I saw Ryan outside the library. He waved when he saw me. I waved back. Ryan walked over. "Are you okay?" I hesitated, then I smiled. "I'm fine." But that wasn't true. Ryan looked at me carefully. For a moment, it seemed like he wanted to say something. Instead, he simply nodded. "Take care, okay?" I watched him walk away. And suddenly, I knew the answer. The question I had been avoiding. Would Ryan still notice me if I were Emma? I didn't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. But for the first time, I realized something. I wanted to find out. As Emma, not as Ava. That evening, I stood alone in front of the bathroom mirror. The room was silent. The girl staring back at me was still beautiful, still perfect, still Ava. Slowly, I touched the mirror. Then I smiled. A small smile, a peaceful smile. I want to go back. Not because I hated this life, not because I hated Ava, but because I finally understood something. A beautiful face could change how people saw me, but it couldn't change who I was. And for the first time in my life, I was ready to be myself. Even if nobody noticed, even if nobody looked at me, even if I had to start over. I closed my eyes and quietly whispered one last time, I want to be Emma. When I opened my eyes again, everything was white. When I opened my eyes, sunlight filled my room. I rushed to the bathroom and looked into the mirror. Emma. My glasses. My messy hair. My ordinary face. I smiled. For the first time, I was happy to see myself. At school, nothing had changed. Nobody noticed me. Nobody called my name. But this time, it didn't hurt. I wasn't comparing myself to Ava anymore. I was just Emma. And that felt enough. At lunch, I sat by the window as usual. Then someone stopped beside my table. Is this seat free? I looked up. Ryan. I nodded. Yes. He sat down and smiled. I feel like I've seen you somewhere before. I laughed. Maybe. Ryan held out his hand. I'm Ryan. I shook it. I'm Emma. It's nice to meet you, Emma. For years, I thought beauty and popularity would make me happy. But what I really wanted was simple. I wanted someone to see the real me. Not Ava. Not a perfect version of me. Just Emma. As Ryan smiled across the table, I realized something. Maybe happiness isn't becoming someone else. Maybe it's finally accepting who you are. And for the first time in a very long time, I smiled without wishing I was someone else.
행복은 다른 사람이 되는 게 아니라 나 자신을 받아들이는 것입니다. 여러분의 생각은 어떤가요? 댓글로 남겨주세요. 구독과 좋아요는 사랑입니다.